Hey guys, Minishcap1 here. Initially, I did not want to make this video because I wanted to wait until Season 8 to give full opinions on the new runes after I had a chance to play around with them. But after considering that and looking at the runes more and more and thinking about them, I decided that it would not be a crazy idea to actually say what I think about them so far, because I think that certain runes are just straight up going to be a lot better than others on Singed, because of the way his new kit is and the way that the champion acts right now. So for that reason, I'm going to be giving a few pages that I think will be decent to run at the start of the next season. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. This is the first page that I think will be pretty good on Singed. It's a sorcery primary, resolve secondary, and the reason that resolve is secondary is because you'll notice this whenever I talk about my resolve page later, but a lot of the resolve masteries are they're just kind of meh. They're really boring, they're one-dimensional, they don't seem like they'll be that great. There's a few that will be good on Singed, but I don't think that they'll be that great. So for now, I'm running with a sorcery primary, and my first keystone is Phase Rush, and the reason I'm using Phase Rush is because you can proc this ability. It's like Thunderlords. The current Thunderlords is kind of where if you do 3 unique instances of damage to an enemy champion, you get your Thunderlords proc. Well, Phase Rush is pretty much the same thing, except instead of giving additional damage, it gives you movement speed. So with Singed, I figure, you can walk up, you can fling someone, that's 1 proc of damage. You can auto-attack them, that's 2 procs of damage. And then as soon as they get into your poison trail, that's 3 procs of damage, and you proc Phase Rush. So I have a feeling that they'll probably nerf this whenever it comes to live, but it says it gives 30 to 60% movement speed based on level. I'm assuming it'll probably give something like 20 to 40% movement speed based on level, which is still really, really good. And this has a lot of synergy with Singed's passive, which is Slipstream, and it's going to have a lot of synergy with Celerity, one of the other more important masteries in the sorcery tree that I'm going to be talking about here in a second. But I think that Phase Rush is probably the most important sorcery mastery for Singed in terms of keystone. If you look at the other 2 keystones, it's this one called Summon Airy. Your attacks and abilities send Airy to a target, damaging enemies or shielding allies. Seems like more of a Lulu or an Oriana type thing where you can shield and do damage, just depending on, the situation. And that's not something that Singed can really capitalize on. The other one, Arcane Comet, damaging an enemy champion with an ability hurls a comet at their location, 40 to 100 based on level plus scaling with AD and AP. Meh. It's honestly kind of meh compared to Phase Rush, at least on Singed. So I like Phase Rush a lot. Now, second tier, with choice between Nullifying Orb, Mana Flow Band, and Ultimate Hat. So let's just get Mana Flow Band out of the way. If you have a decent grasp of how to control mana with Singed, you will never need this mastery. Like, maybe it will help if you're proxying or something and you just really need mana, but I don't think this mastery, Mana Flow Band, is going to be important for Singed. Nullifying Orb. Now, I chose Ultimate Hat, and what Ultimate Hat does is it gives you 5% ultimate CDR at the start of the game. Then every time you use your ultimate, you get 2% CDR up to 5 times, so you end up getting a potential of 15% CDR on only your ultimate, not all your abilities, just your ultimate, so it's like some free CDR, right? Now, what Nullifying Orb does is whenever you get low HP, you get a magic damage shield based on your level and your AP. I think Nullifying Orb will be really, really good versus teams that are heavy magic damage, but I think for most situations, Ultimate Hat will be the one to go because Singed is a very, very, very cooldown reliant champion, and he really needs his ultimate to be able to function. Really, he can't do anything at all without his ultimate late game or mid game, so having that ultimate up more often will be very, very good for him. Now this next mastery, I think, after I explain it, it's going to be a bit of a no-brainer. This next mastery is called Celerity. So what Celerity does is you get 3% movement speed, and 8% of your bonus movement speed gets converted to your AP or AD depending on what you have more of. That's what adaptive means, by the way. If you have more AP or AD, that's what you get the benefit of. So Celerity, gain 3% increased movement speed and add 8% of your bonus movement speed to your AP or AD. Now Celerity is going to have amazing synergy with Phase Rush. Every time you proc Phase Rush, you're going to get additional ability power because of Celerity. But for Singed, you use your ultimate, you're going to get more AP than it actually gives. If you get procs of your passive, every time you proc your passive on Singed, you're going to get movement speed, which is going to translate to AP directly. which has amazing synergy with Phase Rush, which has amazing synergy with his ultimate, his passive. I think Celerity is going to be the absolute best one in this slot, like hands down, no question. If we compare it to the other ones, Absolute Focus, while above 70% health, gain 40 AP or 28 AD based on level. No, Singed is not a champion that has an easy time staying above 70 health in a fight. You don't want this. That's more of like a mage type of mastery. Transcendence, gain 10% CDR once you reach level 10. I don't think that's really good for Singed. If you consider, yeah, CDR is good on Singed, if you can buy it, but the problem is he doesn't really have access to it anyways, and you're already going to get CDR on your ultimate, which is what you really want the CDR for anyways, with Ultimate Hat. So something like Celerity, which just synergizes so perfectly with Singed Kit, I think is too important to ignore. Now, the last one, you can kind of swap around depending on what you like more. I chose Gathering Storm, and I'll explain what that does in a second, but your options here are Scorch. Your next ability sets champions on fire, dealing 10 to 40 magic damage based on level. Kind of boring. Water Walking, gain 25 movement speed and up to 30 AP or 21 AD based on level when in the river. Seems really good on paper, but you have to consider that it's only good in the river. So basically Dragonfight and when you're doing Rift Herald or Baron. And it's not a whole lot of AP when you consider, yeah, 30 AP is a good chunk, but it's based on level. So you're not getting 30 AP at the start of the game when you're in the river. You're getting 30 AP when you're level 18, when it matters a lot less to have 30 AP. So consider that. Now, Gathering Storm. This one is really cool. Every 10 minutes, you gain AP or AD adaptive. So basically, throughout the game, with this mastery, you just get free AP. That's all it does. Every 10 minutes, you gain free AP. And I think that on Singed, because we're going down this tree, it's kind of underwhelming, but there's really nothing better to get in this tree. And it kind of helps him scale in a game where he is being, like, kind of bullied around, and he's falling behind. You can always be like, oh, well, I have Gathering Storm to fall back on. I get some free stats from this. I can just go ahead and focus on my HP items right now, and then get my AP items later, because I am falling behind. I need to survive. Something like, I think Gathering Storm is going to be a decent mastery in this slot, because the other two are just kind of meh, and Gathering Storm's it's not that bad on Singed. Like, scaling AP isn't, like, the best thing for him, but it's not the worst thing for him either. So I think Gathering Storm will be pretty good. So I'll talk about why I dislike the Resolve Keystones and why Resolve is not the primary tree that I think will be important later on. But for now, my secondary is going to be Resolve, not primary, because I think that having Resolve as a secondary is just, it's necessary since these Sorcery Masteries seem so much better for Singed. And I'll explain the other Resolve Masteries later and explain why. But giving the combination of Sorcery and Resolve gives 15 AP or 10.5 AD, depending on what you have more of. For Singed, we'll have 15 AP to start the game off. The different combinations of different trees give different effects, and we'll explore that a little bit later. The first one is Perseverance. Perseverance is basically Singed Wet Dream Mastery. After casting a summoner spell, gain 25% tenacity and 25% slow resistances for 10 seconds. Increase your bonus armor and magic resist by 7% for each summoner spell on cooldown. You pop Ghost, you pop ult, you run into a fight. You have 7% extra armor and MR, 25% tenacity, 25% slow resistances for 10 seconds. You teleport into a fight, you pop Ghost, you pop ult, you run in. You have the slow resistance and tenacity, but you have 14% magic resistance and armor bonus. Seems, this mastery for me on Singed, it seems like a complete no-brainer. Compare this to something like Font of Life. It's just like a shitty version of Ardent Sensor Rally Singed. You don't need this. Font of Life does not help you carry. Font of Life is a support mastery. I'm not a fan of it. Demolish, this one has some potential because it essentially gives tanks way to split push, but with Singed, you want to be team fighting more than you want to be split pushing because Singed is a strong team fighter. That's what he excels at. He used to be able to split push, but he can't do it anymore because other characters are just better at it than him, and he needs to be able to be in a fight and team fight. The other, these down here, I guess I can talk about. Iron Skin, plus 3 armor whenever you heal from consumable, or 20 health from other shit. It increases your armor by 5%. It's meh. It's really meh. And that's what the problem with Resolve Masteries is they're all meh. Mirror Shell, the exact same thing, but for magic resistance. Conditioning, it's just a slightly better version of both of those in one, but still meh. After 10 minutes, you gain 6 armor and MR, and increase your armor and MR by 5%. But you have to wait 10 minutes, that's the problem. It doesn't seem very good to me. I don't think that I would take that mastery personally. Now, consider that those suck. Odds are that these are going to suck too. So, the one I chose is Second Wind, and I'll explain why. Second Wind seems like the best mastery for that secondary slot. Overgrowth, it's just Strength of the Ages from Season 6. Every 10 monsters or enemy minions that die near you permanently increase your maximum health by 0.2%. It's just Strength of the Ages. You kill monsters, you gain maximum health. That mastery was never that good on Singed, so I don't see why it would be good here either. It incentivizes farming and PvE gameplay. Singed needs a team fight. He needs a team fight. Revitalize. Heals and shields are 5% stronger and get increased by an additional 10% on targets below 40% health. This would be good if Singed had access to Spellvamp the new masteries, but sadly Singed will not have access to Spellvamp the new masteries. So that one's pretty much out of the question. Second Wind. After taking damage from an enemy champion, heal for 4% of your missing health over 10 seconds. It's a sustained mastery. You get hit by Teemo auto attack in lane. You heal for 4% of your missing health over 10 seconds. It's just sustain. It'll be more noticeable whenever you're low HP and you're in a team fight trying to run around and like escape with a sliver of health, but in lane it gives you some sustain. So there's really no other better option there. The main point of taking Resolve is for Perseverance, which is basically everything you'd ever want on Singed from a defensive mastery. So I'll talk more about these later, but I want to go into my second tree. This is a tree that I think will be more... I don't exactly think it's that great, but I think if you're trying to cheese and play around with the new Summoner Specialist thing, it could be okay. I think this page would be cool and fun if you're trying to like have fun in proxy. I don't think it'll be the most optimal page because these don't synergize that well with Singed, but I think it'll be fun if you're trying to proxy. So, Summoner Specialist. Gain 15% Summoner Spell CDR, and you can swap one of your Summoner Spells to a different one at the shop for one Summoner Shard. Gain your first Summoner Shard at 2 minutes and another every 6 minutes later. Max 2 shards. Buying a Smite won't grant access to Smite items. You cannot have 2 of the same Summoner spells. So this would be kind of fun if you want to start the game with like Smite and Ghost, and like while you're proxying, just steal the enemy camps. Like say you're proxying topside, and after you proxy the first wave, you want to smite the enemy Big Krug and kill it, and steal the entire camp before the second wave shows up. You can do that with this. And then whenever you recall back to base, you can just swap your Smite for a teleport and teleport back to base, or after you execute or whatever. It seems kind of cheesy, but I don't know if it's worth taking the entire mastery slot and going down the inspiration tree. Biscuit Delivery. Oh, actually, we can talk about the other ones. Glacial Augment. Basic attacking a champion slows them for 2 seconds. And increases in strength over its duration. Range attack slow. Melee attack slow more. Slowing a champion with active items shoots a freeze ray through them, freezing the nearby ground for 5 seconds, slowing all units inside by 50%. Singed doesn't buy active slowing items. He buys a passive slowing item, which is Rylai's. He does not buy... When they say active slowing items, they basically mean Hextech Gunblade, Blade of the Ruined King. They mean... what's the other one? GLP, Hextech GLP. They mean items like that. They don't mean Rylai's, which means that this mastery is basically useless. The third one is going to be this one. It's going to be a mastery. I forget what it's called, but basically if you auto-attack trade with someone, you have a chance to like pickpocket a little bit of their gold, or you have a chance to pickpocket some of their consumable items. It seems really bad. It doesn't seem that great. So the second one, Biscuit Delivery, just a bit of sustain. You get a free biscuit every 3 minutes until 12 minutes to heal whenever you're low HP while you're proxying. Seems good. Also could be good for wanting to escape. They increase your total mana by 40 forever, but that is not that important. Excuse me, I'm yawning. Okay, so this other one is called Perfect Timing. Start the game with a commencing stopwatch that transforms into a stopwatch after 6 minutes. Stopwatch is a one-time use stasis effect. While you have it, it reduces the cooldown of Zanya's Hourglass, Guardian Angel, and Gargoyle Stone. Oh, then this is the Mastery. The Mastery reduces cooldown of Zanya's Guardian Angel and Gargoyles by 15%. Singe doesn't really like any of those items. And I don't think the stopwatch is that important if it's a one-time use. So I wouldn't take it. Singe is not a champion that has ever been able to really abuse Zanya's like mostly mages use Zanya's a lot to be able to outplay people. Singe doesn't really do that. He can't really do that because he can't outplay people that hard. Hextech Flash Traption. This is the one where while your flash isn't cooldown, you can channel this for 2.5 seconds to blink over walls and shit like that. So basically replacing your instant flash for a super duper slow one. I don't even take flash on Singe currently, so I wouldn't see myself using this ever. This one is pretty cool. Futures market. You can enter debt to buy items. The amount you can borrow increases over time. Debt limit 150 plus 5 a minute. Lending fee 50 gold per item. So say you die on your proxy and you need to buy like boots or something, but you only have 250 gold. Well, you can buy the boots, which cost 300 gold, but you'll be 50 gold in debt plus 50 gold extra for buying the boots. And you can only buy up to 150 gold above your 250 gold that you have. Oop, got a YouTube comment. Gonna close that real quick, look at it later. So something like that means you can just buy items while you're cheesily proxying and make up for being killed or something. I don't know. I don't think any of these have really good synergy with Singe. They're just all kind of weird. Magical footwear is one I considered. You get free boots 10 minutes. You can't buy boots before then, and those boots give an extra 10 movement speed and upgrade for 50 gold less. So you save money, you get extra movement speed. The problem is you can only get them at 10 minutes. Singe is a character who needs boots on his first recall because of how movement speed reliant he is. He needs boots on his first or second recall because he needs MS to be able to function. For that reason, I won't take magical footwear ever. Minion Dematerializer. Start the game with 6 minion sojourners that kill and absorb lane minions instantly. Minion sojourners are on cooldown for the first 155 seconds of the game. Absorbing a minion increases your damage by 4% against the type of minion permanently, and an extra 1% for each additional minion of that type absorbed. So if you use one of these on a minion, you gain extra damage versus that minion for the rest of the game. That seems like a support item or a support mastery more than anything, because supports have problems clearing waves. So maybe that would be good for supports. I can't see Singe taking this because Singe doesn't really have a problem clearing minion waves unless it's like super duper early game. So, which you can't even use these super duper early. So I would never take that. Last one. Taking Celestial. I would take Celestial Body on this page. 100 health permanently, minus 5% damage to champions until 10 minutes. You sacrifice damage to champions early on to gain 100 health for the entire game. This is why I think that this entire page is a proxy-focused page, because Biscuit Delivery gives sustain, Celestial Body gives health, Futures Market means you can buy shit, Summoner Specialist means you can like grab Smite and cheese the enemy jungle. This whole page to me would be like a proxy have fun type thing. Approach Velocity is kind of cool. Gain 10% movement speed towards nearby allies that are CC'd or enemies that you CC. So if you put your W on enemy champions, you gain 10% movement speed towards them. I don't think it'll be that necessary because you can have access to your Ghost cooldown, or you can have your passive Slipstream off of ally champions. I don't think Approach Velocity will be that important. It might be better on a support, like I said. If your AD carry gets CC'd, you can run to them faster and shield them and shit, but I don't think it'll be that good on Singed. Not super necessary. Cosmic Insight, 5% CDR, 5% max CDR, Summoner Cell CDR, and 5% item cooldown. Just cooldowns everywhere. But it's only 5% to whatever. This would be good on, like, a mage that uses Zanya's or an assassin that has Yomu's, because they need all of these things, but Singed doesn't really need item CDR, and he doesn't really need Summoner Spell CDR, so not the greatest for him, I think. If I was to go this page, it probably won't, I would take Celestial Body. Now, these sorcery ones explain themselves, because I talked about them earlier. But yeah, this page, more of like a proxy troll page. I don't think it's nearly as good as this first page. I think this first page is a lot better, personally. So I wouldn't really go this page unless I'm just trying to have fun and troll around. Last page, Resolve. Oh boy, let's talk about these. Resolve, Resolve, Resolve. They all these masteries seem boring. They all seem kind of meh. They don't fit in with the rest of the preseason runes update, I don't think. I think that these masteries are all just they don't make sense when you consider what Riot's trying to do. They're trying to make their rune system super duper interactive, and I don't think that these are going to be that great. Do these keystones, they're all kind of meh. Grasp of the Undying is just Grasp of the Undying. Guardian, right-clicking ally champion places a guard on the ally for 3 seconds before you or the ally would take damage. You're both granted a shield for 2.5 seconds, 45 seconds CD, 6 seconds of the shield doesn't activate. Just meh. 1, you need an ally to be able to use this. 2, you need to stop and right-click that ally. 3, you have to take damage within 3 seconds, or you don't get the shield. It's no, just no. And the shield itself only lasts for 2.5 seconds, so it's just no. I would never take this mastery. Courage of the Colossus currently is way better, but they're replacing Courage of the Colossus with this thing called Aftershock. After immobilizing an enemy champion, increase your current armor and magic resist by 10 plus 30% for 2.5 seconds, then deal 2.5, and then after 2.5 seconds, deal damage to nearby enemies. The damage is 40 to 140, plus 3.5% of your maximum health. Adaptive, it just seems so much worse than Courage of the Colossus, because Courage of the Colossus gives you a shield based on your max health instead of damage based on your max health, and the shield is it can be very clutch for Singed, and this just doesn't seem like it. Even though you do get armor and MR, inherently armor and MR is not going to be as great as health on a shield unless you already have health, in which case armor and MR is better, but you're not going to have it because you'll be dead because you don't have a shield, so it doesn't fucking matter. I don't know. They just seem kind of meh. Let me show you the video of Aftershock. I'll show you, like it just doesn't seem that much. Okay, so this is Leona using it. She blinks in onto Syndra, pops her thing, kills her, whatever. But did you notice the delay? The delay on whenever she CC'd? This counts as a CC right here. So at this point, it's starting to charge. Look how long it takes. That's ridiculously long to be able to use that mastery. Singed is a champion that he's not a pure tank. Aftershock is an ability that would be much better on a pure tank, not Singed. Singed is a character that is a hybrid. He's an AP bruiser, and he needs to be able to run around in a fight and spread damage, go front, go back, go around, go to the sides. He needs to move around. He needs to spread poison. He needs to block entrances. What he doesn't want to do, ideally, is sit in the dead center of a team fight and get focused down. Because Singed is a champion that can get easily focused down because he doesn't have the immediate crowd control or the immediate tankiness to be able to survive being focused. Like, yeah, he has his ultimate, which makes him tankier, but he's not good at dealing with getting focused. So having a master like Aftershock, which means you have to stay inside of a fight to use it instead of move around, I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. And if you compare that to something like Phase Rush just seems like it'd be so much better. Because Phase Rush, 1, synergizes with Celerity, and 2, Phase Rush synergizes with his passive, which also synergizes with Celerity. I'm not seeing the Resolve masteries for Singed. They don't seem that good. Perseverance, we talked about Perseverance. Perseverance is the best one for this slot. Conditioning, only because these other two suck. Iron Skin sucks. Mirror Shell sucks. Conditioning still sucks, but why not? Second, when we talked about the other ones, these two kind of suck. So, yeah. I probably wouldn't run this page, personally. It seems to me like this Sorcery and Resolve page will be the absolute best page for Singed. Something I want to rant about is why the Resolve tree, it just looks so bad if you compare it to like look at these Resolve masteries, right? Now compare it to something like fucking Domination. Look at these domination keystones. Predator. Enchant your boots with the active effect Predator. Channel for 3 seconds out of combat to gain 45% movement speed for 15 seconds. Damaging attacks or abilities. End this effect, dealing 60 to 140 plus 0.2 bonus AD plus 0.3 AP bonus adaptive damage. Wow. Think about Hecarim with Predator. Think about Talon with Predator. Think about Cassidon with Predator. Think about Elise with Predator. Think about fucking Lee Sin even with Predator. Like, just that mastery alone is better than every key. This keystone alone is better than every keystone in Resolve. Resolve just seems so boring and meh compared to Predator. Dark Harvest. So this one is basically, if you kill champions, large minions, or large monsters, you get this thing called the Soul Essence, and then collecting them makes your next attack on a champion or structure, then 20 seconds deal bonus adaptive damage. So you kill some shit, you gain bonus damage. Cool. Electrocute. Hitting a champion with 3 unique attacks or abilities within 2 seconds deals bonus adaptive damage. So it's Thunderlords. This is just Thunderlords. The Resolve Masteries, they all seem kind of meh. They just, I don't know. I don't like them that much, but Perseverance and Second Wind seem pretty decent for Singe, so I like those two. The other ones are all awful. This is the page that I think will be the most important, probably the overall best one on Singe. I might be wrong. I might eat my words later, but the way I'm looking at it, this page seems too good on Singed compared to the other ones. The other ones all seem just meh. I'm liking this Sorcery and Resolve one. So, with that, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them in the comments. I try to answer as many comments as I can. If you want to pick at my brain a little bit, try and get extra opinions on stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you in the next one. Bye.